Hey guys, it's the Joker here back to you today with another video. And today I just wanted to take the time to talk about the fact that I really wish and do believe that Eminem should have released his revival album that he unfortunately released on December 15 in the year 2017 when he was 45 years old, that he would have instead released that album of his on September 10 in the year 2017 when he would have been only 44 years old and, still, at that age when he would have released that album of his. But, I can only wish that he would have done that. And it pisses me the fuck off that Eminem did not do that. Because, first of all, Eminem has never released any of his rap albums in the month of September. And when I look at the album cover of his revival album from the year 2017, it just says to me when I, look at the tone and the atmosphere and the vibe that album of his at least gives to me personally, in my opinion, it just says a rap album that would have made the most logical sense to have came out and been released in the month of September. And I'm literally just furious at Eminem for not releasing that album of his in the month of September at the very latest of that year. And still during the time that he would have been only 44 years old. And what I think is extremely frustrating about this also is the fact that he not only released his revival album at the age of 45, but he also released his Kamikaze album, his first surprise rap album in the year 2018, also at the age of 45 years old. So he released two of his rap albums at the age of 45, which to me is annoying as fuck. I mean, literally. I don't know how you could, know this and not be even the slightest bit irritated at him for doing that. And, again, I feel like his revival album should have came out when he was only 44 years old. Whereas his Kamikaze surprise rap album from 2018 could have been the only rap album of his that he would have released during the time he would have been only at the age of 45 years old. I mean, I just fucking hate the shit out of this. I hate the fact that he released two of his rap albums at the age of 45 years old when he should have released just one, being his Kamikaze surprise rap album from the year 2018. His revival album should have came out at the latest on September 10 in the year 2017, and during the time he would have been only 44 years old, and at that specific exact age and no older, and also no later than that. But obviously he would have still been almost 45 because he would have turned 45 on October 17 in the year 2017. But if he would have released the album of his in the month of September, he would have still been 44 years old during that time. And even for a little bit of early October of 2017, he would have still been only 44. From October 1 of 2017 to October 16, he wouldn't have turned 45 until midnight, which would have been October 17, midnight after October 16 of 2017. And I would have just loved it more than anything if Eminem's revival album from the year 2017 would have came out at the very latest in the month of September, on the 10th of September of that year, when he would have been only 44 years old. And then his Kamikaze surprise rap album from 2018 then could have and should have been the only rap album that he himself would have released at the age of 45 years old. And what I also wish is the fact that obviously, and of course, his revival album would have had better beat production behind it, such as, Dr. Dre beat production, for example, or for instance. And also, rap features. Clearly Eminem hasn't, thought of or had, rap features since his like fucking Relapse album. I mean, even on his Recovery album, he had more rap features than he did on his Marshall Mathers LP2 album, because on his Marshall Mathers LP2 album, he only had one rap feature, being Kendrick Lamar on the song Love Game. Whereas on his Revival album, he had no rap features except, I guess you could kind of sort of call his, shitty ass garbage song, and one of the worst songs he's ever made and released, mainly not only because of the beat production, which is just awful in the song, but also the feature is pathetic and pitiful. Fresher, the song Chloroseptic off of his Revival album featuring Fresher, like, who the fucking hell's Fresher? I've never heard of him. I mean, seriously. Don't get all pissed off at me. I've never heard of the guy. And I doubt his music is even that great or good. And Fresher was the only rap feature he had on his Revival album, and the song sucked anyways, and so did Fresher's, verses or whatever he was saying on that song. And the beat production was shit. Absolute dog shit. And, he did release a remix to that song called the Chloroseptic Remix, and only the remix was featuring 2 Chainz. And it's funny because 2 Chainz was actually really pissed that Eminem took 2 Chainz off of his Revival album, because originally 2 Chainz was supposed to be on his Revival album, which personally I find hilarious, because 2 Chainz is one of the worst rappers that you could ever, want on your rap album, or collaborate with for that matter. But it just goes to show, just how far Eminem had fallen as a rapper, on his Revival album. The fact that he would, settle for a rap artist such as 2 Chainz just goes to show that Eminem is not, who and what he used to be. When he was, young and in his youth, as in his 20s and 30s, he was just a fucking beast. But the moment he got in his 40s, he really started to die down and just became such a watered down version of himself, the shallow remains of his former self. And it's just heartbreaking, honestly. And, even if 2 Chainz would have still been on that album like he originally was supposed to be, it wouldn't have made that album of his any better. It still sucked. The beat behind that song of Chloroseptic was absolute ass. And Fresher and 2 Chainz, wow, Eminem. Wow. Unbelievable. Just outrageous. But, I did love a lot of the songs off of his Revival album, though. I loved his song Walk on Water featuring Beyonce, and what's interesting about that song is it originally was supposed to feature Adele, which I find kind of interesting. I mean, I think it's pretty retarded that Eminem waited until he was 45 to finally collaborate with Beyonce. He actually said that in an interview, he had apparently always wanted to collaborate with Beyonce as a rapper, but for whatever bullshit ass reason, he never did, which I don't understand, honestly, because I feel like, Beyonce could have been on his Recovery album. I don't know why she wasn't. Hell, she could have been featured on a Love the Way You Lie remix with Rihanna and Beyonce. I don't know. That would have been pretty sweet. And then that way he wouldn't have had to collaborate with Beyonce on his Revival album. But, whatever, I guess. And personally, I would have rather preferred Rihanna to Beyonce for the song Walk on Water, or even Adele. Hell, I would have even preferred Skylar Grey over Beyonce. I feel like Skylar Grey has a way more beautiful voice than Beyonce does. And what's even sad about it is the fact that Skylar Grey wrote the chorus for the song Walk on Water. And by chorus, I mean like the hook that Beyonce does, that Beyonce sings on that song and music video. It was written by Skylar Grey. But what's also interesting is the fact that Skylar Grey also wrote the hook for Love the Way You Lie, which was Eminem featuring Rihanna. But, it's pretty sad that the only reason why Eminem collaborated with, Rihanna on Love the Way You Lie and Beyonce on Walk on Water is because he wanted to get obviously a more like mainstream artist that has a lot of, popularity to bring the most attention and views and money and whatnot to, Love the Way You Lie or Walk on Water. But it's just sad that knowing that Skylar Grey was actually the person who wrote the hooks of both those songs, and yet she didn't even get to, sing them along with Eminem is heartbreaking. It's crushing. It's painful. I can't even imagine how she probably felt about that. And I'm pretty sure she felt sad. I'm pretty sure she was really torn apart, not only not being able to collaborate with Eminem on Love the Way You Lie, but also Walk on Water. But what's interesting about Walk on Water is Skylar Grey did collaborate with Eminem on that song, but only for the live version that he did. But other than that, she didn't. But, honestly, I would have much rather preferred Adele to Beyonce. But I guess that's just me personally. I would have even preferred Rihanna. And what's actually interesting is Eminem had actually originally had, a lot of women lined up to do, the song Walk on Water with him for his revival album. Like he had Rihanna actually, and Beyonce and Skylar Grey and Adele and I think some others as well. I don't know who. I don't know how many, female artists, singers or whatever that he had, lined up to do that song with him, but I'm pretty sure it was quite a bit. And of course he went with Beyonce. The song Believe, kind of, sort of okay. I don't think it was that bad of a song. However, it could have been better, honestly. One of the problems with his revival album is the fact that he had such a choppy flow on, many songs off that album of his, especially with his song like Believe. I mean, and the beat, it was okay. It wasn't that bad. I definitely prefer the beat of Believe over Chloroseptic any day. Don't get me wrong. The beat for his song Believe off of his revival album, definitely better than Chloroseptic. One thing that I really hated, though, also about, his revival album is the fact that his revival interlude, which was so damn beautiful and so, chilling and painful and sad and heartbreaking, hearing that really melancholy beat for even just the revival interlude off of his 2017 revival album. And what's even more heartbreaking is the fact that the woman who is singing the hook or chorus, if you will, behind the song revival interlude was a singer named Alice Lamech, I think. And unfortunately, she passed away due to leukemia in 2015, and she was only 27 years old. And what's even also heartbreaking is she was really excited and looking forward to collaborating with Eminem, even years before him releasing his revival album in 2017. She was so, happy and filled with joy and excited and thrilled to be able to, have the chance and opportunity to work with probably, if anything, one of her favorite rappers or, artists in general. And she wrote that hook. And it's actually a sample of an old 2009 song. I forgot what the song was called that Alice Lamech or Eminem or whatever was sampling. All I know is that it's a sample of a 2009 song, and you can actually, look up on Google what is Eminem's revival interlude sampling. Like, what is the sample of the revival interlude? And it will tell you on, certain websites. But apparently Eminem had actually done verses or lyrics or whatever to the revival interlude, but because he hated, his final product, he wasn't happy with, what he was able to come up with for that song, he eventually decided to not include it on that album of his, to leave it, unreleased. But because he wanted to pay honor and homage and, respect to Alice Lamech due to the fact that she passed away due to leukemia in 2015 when she was only 27 years old, he kept the interlude on that album of his to pay homage to her, to honor her in, death, and to, pay respect to her. But it's still sad, just knowing that she was so excited and looking forward to collaborating with him. And then just because Eminem was a piss poor, party pooper, or whatever you want to call him, because he was not happy or whatever with whatever verses he was able to come up with, or lyrics, if you will, on his, song that would have been called Revival featuring Alice Lamech, he didn't end up releasing it or putting that song on that album of his, which pisses me the fuck off as an Eminem stan, especially because, my favorite Eminem songs are the ones that are, the most sad and the most heartbreaking, the most melancholy. Those are my favorite Eminem songs. And I know even just by listening to the interlude by itself, I know it would have been, a great Eminem song. I know for an all-around fact it would have been fantastic. Like, seriously. I don't think there is any denying that fact. And honestly, I'm pretty sure it's also safe to say that if he had, went ahead and just stopped being a bitch and would have released that song on that album of his, then it would have easily been the best song off that album of his. I mean, seriously. But, he didn't, unfortunately. And that's the reality of the matter. And again, it just pisses me off. It makes me furious as hell. But, I do like other songs off of his Revival album, such as Offended, which is my favorite song off that album of his. I love the song Tragic Endings featuring Skylar Grey. I love Needed Me featuring Pink, even though, if anything, it's mostly a Pink song rather than an Eminem song. But I still love that song. I love the song A Rose. I love the song Castle. Definitely love the song Framed. Kind of a relapse throwback. I kind of like the song Believe. I like the song Walk on Water. Let's see what else. Let's see. Oh yeah, I love this song. Let's see, what was it called? Damn it, what was that song called? I'm just trying to think here for a second. Damn it, what was that song called? Well, I forgot what the name of the song was, but I do love the song Remind Me. That's a good song. The song I'm trying to think of was the song, where he was like, black boy, we don't like the sight of you, black boy, pull up to the side of you, or whatever, like, I forgot what this song was called, but, and, he was, like, also in one part of the song, he was like, white boy, you're a rock star. I did love that song. I did kind of like the song Like Home featuring Alicia Keys. I mean, it was kind of dumb because it was woke, had a woke message. But other than that, it was a pretty decent song, I guess. But I hated the song Heat. I hated the song Bad Husband featuring Ex-Ambassadors. I hated the song River featuring Ed Sheeran. So pretty much most of the songs I loved off of his Revival album. Oh, another song I loved, In Your Head. I would say for the most part, it was actually a pretty good album. But, at least for the songs that I named just there. But, he lacked more rap features and he lacked, better production, like on certain songs off of that album of his. And, I want you all to take the time, after watching this video, of course, to look up on Google Images, you know, you can look at it on Reddit too. There's this really funny disc 2 track list for Eminem's Revival album that was released way back in 2017. And after, people were pissing and shitting all over his Revival album, even before it came out. But, a lot of people had already made up their mind on, how bad it was probably going to be. And unfortunately, they were right. And it really pissed off Eminem, clearly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made and released Kamikaze, his surprise rap album in the year 2018. And let's see. But yeah, like he lacked anyways, so there's back in 2017, someone, and I don't know who, who originally was the leaker of this, but it was a fake leak anyways, and it's kind of sad that it was, because it looked so good. So after releasing his Revival album, because it was mainly, pop features, R&B features, and, a bunch of pop type rock rap beats or whatever, someone on the internet, I don't know who, released a Revival disc 2, which had like a bunch of rap features, like a shit ton. And then it was funny because Crooked Eye, who's a rapper himself and really close to Eminem, he was one of the members of the rap group Slaughterhouse when they used to be on Shady Records. Crooked Eye went on his Instagram and was like, this is fake, it's not real, whoever, posted this to the internet is a liar or a phony or a fraud or whatever. And it's just crushing that it was fake, because if it was real, that would have been awesome. That would have been dope as fuck, because then guess what? He wouldn't have needed to release a Kamikaze album, but whatever. But anyways, just look up on Google and click on images. When you look it up, type in Revival Disc 2, then click on images, and you'll see, this just pretty much really too good to be true Revival Disc 2 track list, which is definitely far superior than compared to the original track list. Even though it's fake, it's still, painful to see how good it would have been if that would have actually been, the disc 2 of Revival, even though it's fake. And plus, even just looking at it, you could just tell that it's too good to be true anyways. But that's all I wanted to say in today's video. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I'm out.